you have a small siding job to do, but you haven't done siding before? Yeah, me too. So stick around if you want to see how I tackle my first siding job on my simple shed. From a siding perspective, my simple shed is made up of 4 small rectangles. I start each section by cutting and nailing the J-channel to the top and the sides, and I'll go over how I cut the angles for the sides of the shed later in the video. After installing the J-channel, I add the starter strip at the bottom, leaving a 1/4 inch on either side. I align the bottom lip of the starter strip with the bottom of my OSB, nail the middle, make sure it's level, and then nail it in place. At this point, it's just a matter of cutting the siding and adding layers until you get to the top. I have my palm nailer set to leave the nails a little proud, and I'm trying to stay in the middle of the opening. This will allow the siding to expand and contract. I'm not sure it matters for the small stretches on my little shed, but I don't want any buckling that I'll have to fix later. The last siding piece is secured with finished trim that's nailed in place inside the J-channel. The finished trim pinches the top of the siding and holds it in place. I found it really helpful to cut a scrap piece of siding as a template and use that to transfer the cut lines to the last row of siding. Then just connect the dots with a sharp knife. After fitting the last piece, I remove it, punch tabs in the top, and shove it back in place. This ensures it will not come out. I took the angle off the shed and I'm just reproducing it here, and I'll use this as basically a way that I can figure out how I should cut the J-channel. So to figure that out, I went back and forth a few times, starting with this vertical piece and then plugging in the horizontal piece and cutting the angle that lined up with right this point where the two meet. So starting here, and I need to replicate that. So I want this one to be on the top where these two guys meet. And I can just mark this here. And the idea is to cut this all the way up to this corner. And I'm just trimming off a little piece of this. And now when this is in place in the corner, you can slide it in, and that little bottom piece will hold it in place. And the other side is just the same thing, just with the other angle. Using a scrap that's already been cut to fit as a template ensures that the actual piece will fit without wasting any additional J-channel. So I wasn't sure how to do these top two pieces of siding, and the problem was this finished trim that sits inside of the J-channel and catches the top, the last piece of the siding, and holds it in place. This was causing a problem in here, and I wasn't able to get this particular piece all the way secured. So I cut this finished trim back to about here, and I extended this piece from where I originally had it all the way into here. And this will allow me to hold this top piece onto this bottom piece instead of relying on the finished trim, which I've scooted all the way back to about here. This seems to work okay. I don't know what the right way to do it is, but I'm going with this. The takeaway for me is this is a lot easier to figure out with scraps, and then I can just take these and transfer the cut lines from these two pieces onto the actual siding. This is what I ended up with. You can see that the finish trim is holding the top in place, skipping right here where the masking tape is, and then picking up again on the bottom. So now that I'm happy with the way the last piece is fitting in there, and I feel like the two pieces of finish trim will hold in that last piece of siding, I'll go ahead and put the tabs in the siding. So the key thing with doing this, if you've never done these before like me, you want to make sure that the tabs are going to be coming out on the face of the siding. So that the idea is, this is the finish trim that's up inside of the J channel, and that when you push the siding up into it, there'll be a tab that pops out that captures the siding. So you want to do it with the tabs coming out this way, so that when the siding goes up, kind of like if you imagine like this, it won't be able to come out. And I didn't want to bother putting that in before because I wasn't sure how that was going to fit. I'm good now. I think I'm done with that side.
My simple cutting station saved me a bunch of time cutting the siding. My little shed only has 2 lengths of siding, and I was able to measure once for the first piece and then use it as a guide for the additional cuts. It's definitely worth double checking the length at various heights on your shed before making all the cuts.
So I'm going to use this as a template for the last piece. It's a little bit on the high side, but it's close. And then that'll set the angle going down. So for the last piece of siding, I cut the finish trim in 2 pieces so that it lines up. Pretty much like this. Now that'll hold this last piece in place, and additionally the last piece will also slide under the previous piece with this channel here. Well, that'll wrap up the siding for my simple shed. I hope you found something useful. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for the next video where I take out the hose bib and put in some lights. Thanks for watching.